What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome to r/AskReddit with my terrible artwork, where today a defendant's entire court case is blown open because they're a porn star. Okay, so the AskReddit question was, legal professionals of Reddit, what's the funniest way you've ever seen a lawyer or defendant blow a court case? A girl who was about to completely get off with no more than an adult caution due to her going to Australia? Well, she decided that even this was not fair, as she shouldn't be getting any punishment. She was arrested for stealing her boyfriend's car, hitting 3 vehicles with no license, leaving the scene, arriving back to the house, and threatening him with a knife before we had to bring her at gunpoint onto her stomach, where, once arrested, she damaged a police vehicle and spat at the custody sergeant. The boyfriend refused to make a statement and said he was driving, and the custody sergeant decided to leave the whole spinning thing. When she got into the box, she took off her shoe and threw it in the direction of the judge. Naturally, the size of the courtroom and her not being LeBron meant that it didn't get far. Safe to say, after that, she ended up with some time having to be served inside and subsequently, no Australia. I mean, my goodness. All of that and you just get off with an adult caution? And you're still gonna pitch a fit over that? I mean, frick, I know people hate him, and rightly so, but this is almost as bad as Brock Turner complaining that he was too heavily punished over what he did. I mean, you hit the legal lottery here with this, and, okay. My goodness. I was working as court staff in a hearing where a guy was accused of robbing a grocery store. The defendant's lawyer was arguing that they could not identify the man in the surveillance camera footage as his client. While the footage was being shown to the court, the defendant leaned over and said loud enough to his lawyer, "Do you think they can tell that's me in the video?" Bravo, well done. I mean, just shut your trap. Way to hand the case to the prosecution. Hey, real quick, before the next story, if you guys are enjoying the video, I'd encourage you to leave a comment, and if you got a story of your own, please feel free to share it. I love it when I get to hear from you guys. I really want to build a sense of community here, and anytime I hear from you guys, I promise I will do my best to get back to you. But it always makes my day to see when a new video has gotten a comment on it. I was a divorce attorney in Los Angeles, California for 16 years before I moved to Phoenix, Arizona and started my own private practice. Years ago in California, I had a client that was being divorced by her husband. She was a smoking hot woman in her 20s, and he claimed she was being unfaithful, so he divorced her, but he didn't have any evidence, so I thought we had a pretty rock-solid case and my client would get a decent share of his fortune, as he worked in oil and gas and was worth millions. During the trial, one of the bailiffs recognized my client and told the judge. This is where things got bad for us. Turns out my client was a sex addict and doing pornography in the San Fernando Valley while she was married to her husband, and the bailiff embarrassingly recognized her from one of her videos online. The judge reviewed the evidence in private in her chambers with me and the defendant's lawyer and awarded my client nothing. Oh, it's not cheating, it's just doing porn. Well, no, it very much is being unfaithful. I mean, you are, kinda... Yeah, but what a way to get blindsided there. I mean, frick. Why would a client not divulge that when the whole premise of her husband's case is that she's being unfaithful? How do you properly prepare a defense for that? I mean, that's when you go to settle. You don't take that in front of a judge because you know you're going to lose. And did she really not think that was cheating? Did she really not think that was being unfaithful? I mean, okay. Some people. I was an insurance investigator. For those not familiar, workers' comp lawyers are typically bottom of the barrel. You don't need to be good at practicing law to be passable as a comp lawyer. Your rates are set by the board. It's a place where the worst in class from the crappiest law schools tend to land. I had hours of video of this guy repairing a roof over the course of 2 weeks. It was a big building. 8+ hours a day of this guy going up a ladder, climbing up to the roof, doing work. Each day, I'd say I got at least 3 hours of video shot over the course of the day. I turned off the camera when my guy wasn't in view. We get to court and the company lawyer is prepping me and the other investigator for testimony, telling us that the hardest part is going to be proving that the guy on the roof is our guy. He was, of course, but we had to make sure all of our boxes were checked. We ID'd him at the house that was owned by our guy. He drove a car that was registered to our guy. He matched the description of our guy. Most importantly, we needed to ID him in front of the judge. We get in, the lawyer introduces the video, and the guy's lawyer, without prompting, says, "We'll stipulate to the fact that this is the claimant in the video." The lawyer is stunned. The biggest challenge has been overcome. This guy's lawyer proceeds to launch into a convoluted defense for his supposedly half-crippled client doing full-time roofing work that consisted of he wasn't getting paid and was just doing it as a favor. Doesn't matter since the issue is that he said he was too disabled to work. You can tell by the technique and tools he's using that he isn't a professional. Because I turned off the camera when he wasn't in view, we had no idea what he was doing during that time. Surveillance of his client was a violation of federal wiretapping laws. Nope. And surveillance of his client was a violation of the state's harassment and stalking laws. Also nope. When all of that failed, he then tried to argue that we had no proof that it was his client in the video. When it was pointed out that he had already stipulated to that fact, he attempted to backpedal and argue that isn't what he said. The judge had the court reporter read back his stipulation. Lawyer got red-faced and I kid you not, stated, "But Your Honor, that isn't fair." This wasn't some young punk either. This was a man in his 50s who had been doing this for 20 to 30 years and still sucked at it. But his face is all over the place as the top workers' comp lawyer in town. Just remember, kids, when hiring a lawyer, billboards can be purchased by crappy lawyers too. I mean, my gosh. Wasn't that kind of the whole thing about why they went with Saul in Breaking Bad? Was because that's the exact kind of lawyer you wanted, was some kind of like cheesy sleazeball who just ran advertising like that? I mean, Your Honor, that isn't fair. Who says that in court? What self-respecting professional says that in court? I mean, seriously, my goodness. That's just terrible. Before we jump out, I've got an announcement that I want to make. I posted about this yesterday in the community tab, but Craig Stanland, also known as the reinvention coach from the last Humans of Reddit interview that I did, has launched a Kickstarter campaign over his upcoming book, which is all about how going to prison changed his life and turned him into who he is now. And if you want to support it, I've got a link down in the description. Craig's a good guy, his story is incredible, and I'd encourage you to at least check it out. That was r/AskReddit, and if you want more funny courtroom drama stories, then go ahead and click the link here. Or if you want to see more badly drawn funny Reddit, then go ahead and click the link here. Now you guys, stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you all on Monday. Until then, stay beautiful, people.